So especially for perfect black bodies that we discuss, we have also descriptive knowledge about it, and then we have two different laws that is also descriptive, and we got some relation for it also. So let's suppose if we talk about the idea of black body. So first of all, if you remember from the chapter of thermal, we already know that black color is good absorber and it is also good emitter, right?
Yes.
And we consider black body as a perfect, absolute, or like perfect absorber of all radiations. Because in other two categories, just like we compare in these examples, so we have tau 0 in one condition and in other condition tau is equals to 1. So it means there is nothing completely reflected or nothing completely absorbed in these two surfaces. So that's why we consider black body, because black body gives you a perfect absorber concept for all radiations, right? And it is not going to
Right.
reflect any type of radiation, not reflecting any radiation. So this is the first basic knowledge that we discussed about the concept of the black body. And secondly, there are several properties also. So if we talk about the several properties of black bodies, for example, properties related to the black body. So the first one is it is completely absorbs the incident radiations, as we already discussed. Completely absorbs all radiations irrespective of its wavelength. So it completely absorbs all radiations, irrespective of its wavelength. And it is a black body because it does not reflect any radiation. So no reflection of radiation. And the second point is it also works like a perfect emitter because it is completely a perfect black body. It absorbs all radiation. That's why it is black. And definitely when it is a good absorber, so definitely it becomes a good emitter. So we can say it is a perfect emitter because there is no other surface that can emit more radiations as compared to the black body provided at the same temperature. So no other surface can emit more radiations than a black body. provided being at same temperature. So for other bodies, definitely we need to change the temperature, but for black body, if we consider any specific temperature, so it can absorb all type of radiations coming at that temperature, and it can also emit all type of radiation at that specific temperature. This is the second property. And the third property is it can emit radiation in all possible directions. So black body can emit radiations in all possible direction. And a black body is a perfectly diffuse emitter, right? So these are some basic properties related to the black body. So these are three important properties that helps you to understand the idea related to the black body. And further, if we talk about a black body, so it can work both as a perfect emitter or as a perfect absorber, as we already discussed. And secondly, if we talk about the laws related to the black body, so we have Stephen Boltzmann law that gives you certain idea of quantities related to the black body. For example, it gives you the idea of luminosity with the temperature. And in Wein's displacement law, we are going to compare wavelength with respect to the temperature. So these two laws helps you to compare different quantities related to the black body. Okay. And let's suppose,
Okay.
yes, if you consider some examples, like just for the reference, it is not compulsory that we always use black color body because it depends upon the radiations, the type of radiations we are talking about. So for example, it depends upon the objects and type of radiation also. For example, uh, normal black bodies, like normal black objects can be considered as black body, definitely. So if we consider any black objects, so those black objects are treated as black body. And secondly, if we compare some other bodies, for example, if we consider ice, so we think that ice is not a black body, but ice also works like a black body, but for only infrared radiations. Because the purpose of black body is not to figure out the black color in the bodies or black color of the objects. The main focus of the black body is to talk about that type of bodies which actually absorbs maximum amount of radiation, and that will also emit the maximum amount of radiations that they absorbs, right?
Yeah, okay.
And secondly, if we consider the example of ice, so ice also works like a black body, especially for infrared radiation. So ice is a black body, but especially for infrared radiations. And in other words, we can say that these are perfect absorber. And if we consider another object that also works like a black body, so for example, if we consider stars, so a star is also like almost close to black body. It is not exactly perfect black body, but we can say it is close to a black body also. It is also a black body for infrared radiations. And these are working like a perfect emitter. Because we got radiations from the star, we consider sun also as a star. So we are getting radiations from the sun. So that's why we consider stars as the form of radiations, or the black body also, because we are getting radiations coming out from that star or that specific body. Okay.
Okay.
So these are some different examples related to different types of black bodies. And now if we consider Stephen Boltzmann law related to the black body, so let's see how the quantities are linked in the Stephen Boltzmann law with the black body. Is related to Stephen Boltzmann law. So in Stephen Boltzmann law, it helps you to relate the luminosity of a black body at a certain temperature T, which is directly proportional to the its surface area. So luminosity of a black body the luminosity of a black body, let's suppose at a temperature T, is directly proportional to its surface area and to T to the power 4. Okay. So these are the factors that helps to understand that how Stephen Boltzmann law helps to relate the temperature or the luminosity with the reference of the surface area and to the temperature. Okay.
Okay. So is
And
there like a proper equation for it?
yes, we have equation also
And
like,
does it
right. We have luminosity capital L is equals to definitely Stephen Boltzmann constant, because we are using Stephen Boltzmann law. So we got a constant of it that is represented by this sigma
okay?
symbol. And then we have surface area, the same we discussed like before, 4 pi r square, and the value of absolute temperature, T to the power 4, right?
Mm.
So basically luminosity is directly proportional to the surface area and the value of T4. And there is one constant which is equals to Stephen Boltzmann constant, that is represented by this symbol of sigma. Stephen,
Is it like a known value? Like, is it one single value which they give us in the data table, or does it
yes,
change like per?
it remains same. So definitely this value will be given in the paper. So don't worry about it. It remains constant. Okay.
Okay.
So this is related to Stephen-Boltzmann law constant. And since if we talk about the value related to the Stephen-Boltzmann law constant, so it is equals to 5.67 10 to the power minus 8 watt, because we discussed that luminosity is equals to power per unit area, K4. Because the SI unit of luminosity is equals to watt, and for area it is equals to meter square, and for temperature Kelvin power 4. Okay.
Okay.
And let's suppose if we are going to apply this equation, so this equation is applicable by considering the surrounding at 0 Kelvin. 0 Kelvin means minus 273 degrees Celsius, right? So this equation is applied by considering surrounding 0 Kelvin, 0 Kelvin, right? And if let's suppose if temperature is greater than 0 Kelvin, if it is not equals to 0 Kelvin, if surrounding temperature is high, so definitely luminosity decreases. And according to this factor, if we compare the graphical representation and then we also compare the values according to the concept for the two stars. Like if there are two stars, they have different luminosity, they have different temperatures. So what will be the graphical representation given over there? So let's suppose if this is the luminosity given, and then if we consider the temperature is given in the Kelvin. So for example, as we mentioned, if surrounding temperature is high, so luminosity decreases. So when temperature increases, so luminosity decreases. Or the graphical representation will be like this. For a perfect, like if we consider a black body scenario, so for black body, graphical representation will be like this. Now you can see temperature is decreasing because initially it is moving in both directions equally, but then it starts to bend towards luminosity. So luminosity is increasing, but temperature is not increasing, right? Because if surrounding temperature is high, it means it increases from a certain value. So definitely luminosity decreases. But right now, temperature is not increasing in the graph. So that's why only luminosity increases, right? And this is the graphical representation for a black body.
Okay.
And let's suppose if you consider any other body, which is not a, like a black body, so graphical representation starts from the same point, but it will be like this. Okay. So luminosity will not increase much like the black body graphical representation. So it is not a black body. And for example, if you consider two stars, so if we consider the example of two stars, and let's suppose they are having same luminosity. So they have same luminosity. So same luminosity means if we compare the area and the temperature, so both are inversely proportional to each other. So according to the formula, if they have same luminosity and we have Stephen Boltzmann law constant, so these two becomes constant values. So now A and T, these two quantities are variable. So if we compare them, it becomes inversely proportional to each other, right? So according to this scenario, if you increase the temperature, so area becomes shorter. And if area is increasing, so definitely temperature is decreasing. So from this information, we can drive one more idea that says that the star with high temperature, they must have smaller radius according to this equation, right? So according to this equation, if the temperature of a star is very high, so the hotter star gives you the smaller radius according to this equation, according to this formula that we derive from the main equation of Stephen Boltzmann law constant. Okay. And
Okay.
in normal scenario, for example, if L is directly proportional to A, for example, if we consider luminosity and area, so both are directly proportional. And in the same way, if you compare length with temperature, so these are also directly proportional quantities. So if you increase length or sorry, luminosity or area, for example, if we increase area by 2 times, so luminosity also increases by 2 times, right? Length
Right, okay.
compared with area. So both are single values directly proportional. So 2 times increasing the area give you 2 times new length and so on. But specific if we talk about temperature because there is a power 4. So definitely with respect to the luminosity, comparing with the value of t to the power 4, we got 4 times greater value, like power 4 times greater. So for example, if we are talking about 2 times temperature, so 2 time means to the power of 4 multiplied by luminosity equals to 16 times of the luminosity. Okay. And same if it increases by 3, so 3 to the power 4 multiply by luminosity means 81 times luminosity. So you can see the value increases with very high rate because both quantities are directly proportional and area is directly proportional plus uh, the total temperature is also directly proportional, that is given with the power of 4. And let's suppose if you want to compare any other temperature in the surrounding, so we can choose two values of the temperature, one at the 0 Kelvin and the other that is given in the surrounding, right?
Right.
So this is the law related to the Stephen Boltzmann, and this law helps to compare luminosity with the surface area given or with the temperature given to the power 4. Okay. And
Okay.
yes, after this, there is another law related to this black body radiation concept. So we have a concept of Wien's displacement law. So basically, in Wien's displacement law, we are going to compare the wavelength with the temperature. So for example, in this law, we are going to write the wavelength at peak intensity is inversely proportional to the thermodynamic temperature. So from the chapter of thermodynamics, we can relate the idea with thermodynamics temperature. Thermodynamics temperature, right?
Right.
So in this thermodynamic temperature, we can relate both are inversely proportional. So inversely proportional means maximum wavelength is inversely to the temperature, and we are using thermodynamic temperature. So it means we can relate the general gas constant K with wavelength and with the temperature. So maximum wavelength is equals to K over T. So K is like the constant we used in the gas constant. So that's why we are using thermodynamic temperature, because in that thermodynamic we use gas constant K. And if we multiply temperature on the other side, so wavelength maximum multiplied by T is equals to the constant value of K, which is equals to 0.0029, right?
Right.
And further, this T represents the surface temperature, and this lambda maximum represents wavelength having maximum intensity. And according to the idea of energy release in the form of photons and etc., we can say at higher temperature, so the photon energy is also higher. So the intensity, that means the number of photons. So at higher temperature, photon energy is also higher. So higher temperature means shorter wavelength, as we already discussed. And there is a graphical representation for the curve, because there are different concepts we discuss in the electromagnetic spectrum. So in electromagnetic spectrum, there are different types of radiations given: ultraviolet, visible, infrared, etc. So if we compare ultraviolet, visible, and infrared region, so let's see what is the difference of the temperature according to their, or we can compare their wavelength according to their intensity or the temperature. So according to their graphical representation, so graphical representation is between intensity given and the wavelength given. So over here we mention at higher temperature photon energy is high. So photon energy high means intensity is also high. So we can also compare the factor of intensity with respect to the wavelength. So let's
So
suppose,
the wavelength
Hmm.
related to the intensity.
Yes, we can directly relate with the intensity. So let's suppose we have x-axis and y-axis. On y-axis, we are using the concept of intensity. So the value of intensity is on y-axis. And on x-axis, we are using wavelength. And for wavelength, we are using in micrometer values. And let's suppose the markings given on the graphical representation. For example, we started from, or let's suppose if we first mark the peaks, then we mark the value. So it will be easy because it is a completely blank graph. There is no boxes to for the reference. So let's suppose we have one line. Let's suppose this is point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2. And then we have the value continues till 3 micrometers. And on this graphical representation, the first curve, let's suppose it is started from the 0, and that peak starts from point 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is the starting point. And then it makes a slight peak 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 over here. This is 1. So it gives you a slight curve in this situation, and this is related to the temperature at 300 degree, or sorry, 3000 Kelvin. So it will be equals to the maximum peak at 3000 Kelvin, because when temperature is high, so intensity is also high. So this is the maximum temperature for this graphical representation, and this temperature is, let's suppose, equals to 3000 Kelvin. And in the same way, the next peak will be much earlier as compared to the second one. It is started from like 0.2 almost from this point, and it will gives you a peak near 1, and then it will continue so on
Okay, so it's
like this. Yes, so it is giving a greater peak at this value, which is 4000 now, because peak is greater than the first, so definitely it is equals to the greater value. Then the next peak is further greater as compared to the first one, so it will be around 5000. So the next peak is 5000 more earlier. So let's suppose this is 3000. If you compare the same points, for example, this is the maximum wavelength we recorded for the green. This is the maximum we recorded for yellow, and this is the maximum we recorded maximum for the purple. And one more, if we make, so that is for the visible light. like this. So it will also gives you a greater peak at this point. And if you compare a common point, just like we mentioned, on the first peak, it is equals to 3000. And on the same point, if you move upward, so this temperature is 4000. And on the top, it is equals to 5000. And on the top, it is equals to 6000. So this is the comparison of the all the values related to the first peak given in the first representation. Okay.
Okay.
And if we compare the region, so starting from, let's suppose, if we consider this specific region, and this is related to, so this is a specific region, and this specific region from the start is equals to ultraviolet. So this is ultraviolet region, and the next region is for visible, and the last one is for infrared, and the last one is for infrared. So this second region is for visible, the first one is for the ultraviolet, and the last region is for, after this dotted line, that is for infrared, right?
Right.
So the last region is for infrared. So we can see in infrared we have a slightly low temperature, but for the visible we have maximum peak, we have maximum wavelength in the uh, visible region, right? So we have maximum intensity over there as compared to their wavelengths.
Okay.
And according to this information, we can further say that the color of light coming from the hot objects, the color of light coming from hot objects moves from red to blue, and hence all white moves from red to blue. So the color of light coming from the hot objects, it starts to move from red color, then it moves towards the blue color, and then it converts finally it towards the white color, and hence all white. And brightness of light increasing because of increasing intensity. Brightness of light increases, as we discussed in the graphical representation, that it is increasing because of increase in intensity. So this is the concept for the graphical representation related to this Wien's displacement law, right?
You're right.
So it is basically related to the law. So definitely we need to know about the concepts, and we need to know about the knowledge that is given in the laws already, that how these laws actually helps you to understand, because in normal space bodies ideas, we know when bodies are moving away from each other, so their wavelength starts to increase. So in this graphical representation, we can also observe that wavelength is going to be uh, in micrometers. So initially we have one, then after some time we have two, then three. So it continues to decrease, right?
Yeah.
Because it is already in micrometer minus 6. So 0.0000, etc. the value. And we use the same idea then in the next topic, which is related to the redshift, that also helps you to relate the graphical representations over there. And then there is a topic of Hubble's law that is also related to the distant bodies that are moving away from the other bodies or moving away from the other galaxies. So that topic is also related to the distant object. So mostly we are working with a distant object, and that will also provides you the evidence that how universe starts to expand. And if we consider the initial state, so according to the initial state, the new state of the space is the expanded one, and that starts to expand as compared to the initial state of the space, right? And because this topic is also included new in in A levels, so that's why you will also get a few questions from the past paper, and mostly it is related to the theoretical form, right? Just like in IGCSE
Yeah.
when it is included, so then it is some new topics are also included in this astronomy and cosmology topic. So that's why we also have a few questions from the past papers to practice. Mostly are from the new past papers, not from the old one. So in next class, we will complete this whole topic, because if we start redshift or Hubble's law, so we are not able to complete in this time. So for redshift and Hubble's law, we will continue in the next class, so that will we are able to complete that whole topic of redshift and Hubble's law in the next class. Okay.
Okay.
So that is the last topic in the Hubble in this chapter. And then we can practice some questions from the books, and we got some new past papers. And from those new past papers, we can identify the new type of question that we can practice. Because in IGCSE, we have some basic knowledge related to the basic formula and basic information related to the Big Bang theory and the redshift idea. So we already know about it, but now we have different formulas and graphical representation. So now questions are slightly detailed as compared to the IGCSE questions, right?
Yeah, okay.